Good morning. I'm so glad to be back. It's been a couple of weeks, and I'm sure glad to be trying to get these going again. I hope everybody out there is doing great. Hope we're all being happy as best we can, and if not, that we're finding those ways to be happy. Wanted to just give a shout out, a moment to remember the folks in the middle of the country who have been devastated by floods. We really haven't heard a whole lot about them, at least over here. I haven't heard a whole lot about them. So for those farmers and those folks, the indigenous people, everybody out there, our prayers go out to you. And there are sites I noticed where you can donate money for those folks. Just wanted to update you a little bit on what's been going on. The last time we talked, I'm not sure exactly what that one was on, but I wanted to update you from there. So, excuse me, I've been fighting bronchitis just like everybody else in this country has this year. Send a recorder to Aunt Ima and Uncle Jack in Odessa. I'm hoping, and they may not always have time, but one of the things I wanted to do was hear stories when Uncle Jack and Aunt Ima are talking. I want to hear them. I want to be able to hear what happened in their life. And because I'm working and because I can't afford to travel all over the world all the time, that recorder, I hope, will be a way for me to have stories for many years and to use them in my genealogy as well when I'm looking for things. That's one thing I had done. The other thing I had done was I had sent them my Auntie Ima and Uncle Jack and my Auntie Ann in Arkansas. I saw this great book called Abandoned Arkansas. Now, my auntie has always lived in Arkansas, and my uncle Jack had lived there for a time too with my grandmother and her husband and his dad, and in Luxburg. And so Auntie Anne's from Mina, and or that's where she has been living for most of her life. And then Uncle Jack and his family at one time lived in Luxburg. So this was a great find. It has a lot of beautiful old buildings in it and stuff. The thing I noticed about it, more pictures than anything, which was fine, but it would be nice sometimes to have the history. The other thing that Auntie Anne did for me is she went out to a cemetery. You know, we're trying to connect my auntie and her children to the nation as well, so we're having to do some homework. She found her great-grandmother, which would be my great-great-grandmother, Nancy Hodges, in the cemetery, who I've also found on the rolls. And this one here is of my grandfather. Or excuse me, this is of Aggie Hodges' husband. And Aggie would be my grandmother. And then this one I don't have right in front of me, but I believe this is my grandfather and his wife, my auntie's mom. So great finds. And even though we're here across the United States, we all communicate and work on things. The other thing she sent me was a copy of my grandfather's birth certificate, so I'd have that. She also sent me this one of her family member on the other side, on my Auntie Anne's mom, her side of the family too, because we believe there's Native over there as well. So I'll be researching that for them as well. So that's kind of where we've been. I wanted to also update you. You know, I told you about 6 months ago, excuse me just a second. About 6 months ago, I took a paints and brushes and a canvas to my mom, and I said, Mom, you need to paint. You know, my mom's 83, and the thing about our folks when we're so busy still working and having life is we don't want them to get bored or feel like they're not part of. And so I try to keep my mom real busy. She goes dancing and she goes to the senior center, and now she's into Tai Chi. My favorite thing was to see her come around and look at me and go, aha, one of these days. So she's enjoying that a lot. And but one of the things with this painting, the first thing she said to me was, I can't paint, I'm left-handed. My mother grew up in a time when it was kind of important to be a housewife and a mother, and that was about it. You didn't learn to really exercise unless you were an athlete of some kind. You didn't learn certain things because it wasn't necessary back then. But I'm trying to encourage her with things that I think might be good for her. And so far, I wanted to show you, she's done a couple of great paintings. We got a calendar from the Choctaw Nation this year that had a lot of churches, Choctaw churches, where folks go. And this was one out in the woods. So listen, you might have to help somebody get started, or you might need help getting started. So Mom's done plants and stuff, but she wanted to do a little church. So I sat down and I kind of knocked out this little church for her, just the building, and got it going. And this is how she has had it finish up. I hope you can see it. She's real pleased, and I'm real pleased for her. There you go. See how pretty that is? She's got a bunch of trees in the back and a lot of pretty little flowers up front, and a little old building that's a church. And I'm just tickled for her that she is getting so into that and enjoying it so much. And she's doing a lot. You know, when you paint, like I tell you, it's very subjective. I love this little boy. I saw this little boy. It was a free photo. I wanted to paint him, and he's just so vibrant to me and so alive. And I want to get out there and dance with him and see what he's enjoying and being very into. So, I mean, painting's very subjective. Some people are going to like your work. Some people aren't going to like your work. Who cares? If you like your painting, if it does something for you, then you're doing great. So, hey, that's where I'm at right now. Always working on genealogy, always thinking, working on my painting, still working on horse. If you have questions or things, please shoot me a message. I'd be glad to help you, a comment. And if you like the videos, please go over to YouTube and subscribe, or you can go to my website at Native by Heart Art by Sean Shelton and go in there and subscribe through there. You can see the earrings and the paintings, and of course my Human Tribe cut, because you know we can't go back and fix who our ancestors are. We have good ancestors, and we have some not so good ancestors all over on everybody's bloodline, anywhere you are. I don't care who you are. Just like we have folks we like today and appreciate, and other people we kind of go, You just got to love them where they're at as best you can, right? You know, the one thing I remember God said, because my mom has said to me a couple times, I don't know how you can talk to so-and-so and so-and-so. And I said, you know, Mom, because I remember you and you teaching me as I went to church as a little girl that it was my job to forgive everybody. He didn't tell me I could just forgive a couple or the ones I wanted. He said, Sean, and he's saying it to all of us, you forgive everybody. Because you know what? It's my job to deal with whatever the issue was in the past. And you know, that's how I kind of live my life. I try not to let people's attitude towards me or around me make me lessen how I think I am or my self-worth. And I hope you get that too. We are in a very stressful time. There's so many things going on and so many people that promote so much stuff. Hey, just be yourself. Be the best you can be. And that's about all we can do, right? Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the art you come up with. Enjoy what you're working on, because it's important work, even if it's just important to you. All right, you guys. So listen, again, I'm seeing lots of stuff out there. A lot of children being hurt, killed, families being devastated. A lot of people being affected. Just saw domestic violence where a guy crashed a car and then stabbed his girlfriend to death here in Arizona. Just pitiful. Please watch yourselves. Make sure you know where you're at. If you're in a domestic violence situation, please get out of it. Find a way out, okay? Because it's not worth toxic relationships are not worth staying in. There's too much out there to live for. Watch your kids. Keep them close to you. It only takes a second for somebody to devastate your life. Please remember that your blood calls you. You go find it. I'm Native by Heart Art by Sean Shelton. I hope you guys are doing fantastic, and I'll catch you on the next video. You be safe, and God bless.